Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, Koki Creative. My name's Elena and I'm a part of the EA Creator Network. Today we're doing a speed build. This is my first build using the Enchanted by Nature pack, and whenever a new pack comes out, I like to build something only using that new pack. So this time I did something a little different. I built an entire house first, only using base game, and then uploaded that to the gallery. Then I waited until I got Enchanted by Nature to replace and fill spaces in with the new items from that pack. Then I uploaded that version as well. Before I get any further, because I can go on tangents, if you want to support me, use my creator code KokiCreative at checkout when buying any Sims pack. Even if you don't want to use my code, check to see if your favorite Sims creator has one, because it doesn't cost you anything and it really does help out. So now let me tell you a little bit about this build. Well, technically 2 builds. Anyway, it's 2 beds, 3 baths on a 30 by 20 lot. The base game costs 138,000 simoleons and the Enchanted by Nature one costs 141,000 simoleons, so not that much different in cost. I made a floor plan before I even started this build, and that's something I've been doing more and more often. It just saves me so much time and energy before I even get onto the lot and want to build something. There are times where I'm in the mood to just feel creative, so I go to a lot and just see what happens. But this build, I'm building it for the new pack and I wanted it to be special. So I went out of my way to make sure that I kind of liked the way it looked before I even got onto this lot. And a couple new things that came out right before the pack came out. So we have glass walls now, and there's plants that you can easily place on roofs. If you are familiar with my builds at all, you know that I have been placing plants on roofs for a while now, but this just makes it a little bit easier / a little bit harder sometimes, and I'll explain why when we get to that point. But I am, for the most part, happy that they added that. It does save me a little bit of time. I don't have to like press the 9 key to lift plants up anymore. I still do a little bit, but again, I'll get to that part when we get there. I'm doing the roof right now, and this roof, I want it to be playful. I want it to be whimsical, fun, so I just messed around with the shape. I'm making adjustments to the shape itself because I was running into some issues with the roof here. I cut out a little bit of me doing the roof, but I did try to keep a lot of it because I want to show people my process, especially with builds, or not builds, with roofs, since roofs are one of those like hot topics in the community and something I very much enjoy doing. I wouldn't say that it's like completely effortless on my part, but I have gotten pretty fast at it. But again, it's a lot of trial and error, and sometimes I edit out the trial and error on my videos, and I don't want people to think that's just like first thing I put down is the right thing. That's not the case most of the time. I also knew the siding was going to be a whole thing. I really had purple in mind, but I wasn't finding good purple swatches, so I found this pink base game swatch. Again, all this is base game right now. I didn't love that, so I end up changing that later. You will see it go through a couple of different colors as I go. That's just what happens. It's kind of funny because my original intention was not to upload a base game version. I was just putting all these placeholder items like doors and windows that were base game that I was completely planning on replacing. But as I was building it, I was really liking the way it was coming together, and it was hard for me to imagine this build without those windows and doors. So when I was near the end of building the shell of this, I uploaded a video to my Instagram showing a little sneak peek and asked people, should I maybe just finish this, a base game version, and upload it? So overwhelmingly, yes. I don't think anyone said no, don't upload a base game version. So it did not take long for me to finish at that point since I was nearly done. It's kind of the new thing I think I'm going to do. I also want to upload a shell of every single one of my builds also, since I usually do the complete outside before I do the inside. I just always forget to do that. I might even just go and delete everything inside of a build I made just to upload some shells, because I think it gives people the opportunity to just do some interiors. I think that's why a lot of people like apartments also, because you don't have to worry about the exterior. I personally love doing a little exterior, but that's just me. The shape, I planned it out beforehand. I wanted the first story to technically be like a basement. So I used landscaping later to lift up the ground to make it look like a basement. You'll see. And then the second story is technically like the first story. And then the third story is just going to be bedrooms, stuff like that. And then I just thought the 4th story would look cute. In both of the versions I uploaded, the 4th story is just a storage room. But I kind of figured that could be a room for whoever downloads it to add like a fun bonus room. I do have a painting room in here, a music area, an office, an apothecary table. So it just could be for whatever you want. Maybe a candle making studio. I don't know. I do have to say that there isn't stairs or a ladder up to the 4th story, so make sure that you have an occult that knows how to teleport, or have your meditation skills up high enough so you can teleport that way. Or if you're okay with using cheats, you can just teleport that way. So if you have testing cheats true on in your save, you can shift click the ground and just teleport sim anywhere. This is where I start manipulating the terrain, and I love doing this. This is one of my favorite things. I usually will make a path with the terrain, but this time I decided to use stairs instead, which is not harder or easier, it's just different. So I want to explain this really quickly if you ever use terrain and you just want some tips. Do you see how there are lines on the edge of the mountain, and there's like 5 lines and every 5th line is a thicker line? If you want the stairs to lay flat, so from the top and the bottom, you'll know what I'm talking about if you ever place stairs on terrain and it either lowers the ground or raises the ground. Anyway, if you want it to be flat like this, like flush, flatten your lot on the thick line on both the top and the bottom. I'm starting playing around the shape a little bit more. This kind of makes it look a little bit more Tudor style, which is kind of what I'm going for. When I think of fairy houses, I think of Tudor houses. I don't know. It's just something that I think about. Like, have you ever seen a really beautiful Tudor house that has a great garden and you just think a fairy lives there? I know I have. My in-laws in their neighborhood, there's this white Tudor house that I called a fairy house. It's so beautiful. It's this little fairy house. It's not little. It's just beautiful though. So I also obviously had to add a pond. It just felt like something that a fairy would definitely have at their house. Why wouldn't they have a pond? My favorite water texture, what do you want to call that? Like paint? You see how I have it look like it's grassy? My favorite one comes with Get Together. It's this very blue, crystally looking water, and it makes me so mad that that comes with Get Together because it's just my favorite water. I had to settle with this mossy, grassy, you know what I'm talking about, water. So now I'm using rocks to cover all of the brown on the mountain as something I do all the time. I'm using tool mod to move it around because it makes it a lot faster. Sometimes it doesn't fit perfectly, so then I'll go back into the terrain tool and I'll move around the terrain so that way it works. I'll flatten areas and just move what I need to around because it's easier for me to move the terrain around than it is for me to move the rocks around. As you can see, all these rocks are also in the basement technically. It doesn't look like it as I'm moving around, but I place them in the basement first and then use tool mod to move them around so that way there won't be any issues for your Sims walking. Since we have some time while I'm landscaping, I will talk about the new pack, Enchanted by Nature. I have had some time in the last couple of weeks to play it a little bit. I did a little bit of cast, some gameplay, building, of course, and I want to talk about my thoughts. So I do like it. Overall, I've been very excited about getting fairies. The only negative thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that it is an expansion pack. I kind of wish that they would have done it the same way they did vampires and werewolves, because I think this would have made an excellent game pack. You could have taken away the ailments and just maybe had it more just fairy focused, still have a world. It doesn't have to be big, but it could be exactly like what they did with werewolves, because I really think they did a wonderful job with the werewolves pack and vampires. And spellcasters, sorry, Realm of Magic. Those 3 are great examples. The 2 other occults that come with expansion packs are aliens and mermaids, and neither of those have a skill tree. However, fairies do have a skill tree, so I'm happy about that. So getting that out of the way, I do want to talk about it. I'm glad that they have released an update recently to make ailments less likely to happen, because I found that it was happening at an alarming rate. I opened up a save game I haven't played in a while and immediately got an ailment. And I don't really know what happened. I mean, within the first minute, I didn't even get to play anything. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Okay, she's already sick. And she was living in the city. That was not her thing. Like, I didn't want to play with ailments with the save file. So There is a way in the settings to make it less likely to get ailments as well. So if you find yourself getting ailments too often, make sure you go to your settings and then gameplay settings, and you're able to change it, make it less likely to happen. Gameplay wise, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Realm of Magic might be one of my favorite all-time packs ever, just because I use spellcasters so often. So I will see myself using fairies a lot. I really like their powers. I think their powers are very fun. Realm of Magic comes with a lot of like similar powers, like you can make food, you can teleport, like things we've seen before, minus like a few things, but like you catch people on fire. You can catch people on fire with other things. But with fairies, you can actually like tame the beast. So if a werewolf comes over to your house asking for help on a full moon, you can help them out. Okay, let me put a pause on this, and I want to talk about what I'm doing really quickly with Toolmod. So with base game debug planks of wood, I'm making a little detail on the roof. I've done this a couple times. It does take a little bit of time, but I wanted to show the whole process here instead of editing out a big handful of it. This is just one of the many reasons why I love Toolmod so much, because you can do stuff like this. I can make a base game build not look base game. So if you ever want like a tutorial on how to use Toolmod, I do have some quick ones on my TikTok. You can find them under the tutorials tab, but maybe I should make some more in-depth ones for YouTube, because I have gotten pretty familiar with it. And if I could share my knowledge, I'll be very happy about that. I've learned a lot of it on my own, and it takes a while. It can be a little intimidating at first, but it's definitely something that I want to encourage anyone who loves building to try, especially if you play on computer, because you have the ability to get mods. So, you know, if you're feeling like you want to spice up your building a little bit, just definitely give Toolmod a chance. I'm using terrain paint to make these little paths, and I'm going to fill all this area in, all the green grass area, with bushes and plants. I'm using all base game plants because they have some of the best and some of my favorites. I want to talk again a little bit more about the pack. So one of my favorite features is, and I was mentioning this earlier, is other occults will call your fairy when they need help. Like mermaids will call when they need some sort of like hydration thing. I can't remember what it's called. And then werewolves will call you on the full moon. I think vampires might too, but you don't really get along with vampires or spellcasters. There is a lot of lore that comes with this pack. There's a whole war that happened with the gnomes, and you're not allowed to use fairy magic in certain areas of the New World, like in the gnome area. So I really appreciated that kind of attention to detail. It's something that I feel like I missed a lot in Sims 4 that we've kind of gotten in previous generations of Sims, but I feel like they are doing better with making the game feel a little bit more alive with that kind of level of detail. Cass is great, so I'm loving making wings. I love that. So if you were familiar with the new tattoo feature / painting on pets and painting on werewolves, you can do exactly that with wings. So you can use stamps to change the colors. You can even just change the colors in general. You can draw on the wings. You can really make like super custom different shapes of wings. I'm really, really glad they added that, because it just adds that kind of level of customization that I feel like a lot of Sims creators like myself are really looking for. I want my Sim to look unique. I want to make a Sim that looks like no other Sim out there, no other Sim I've made before, or no other Sim someone else is going to make. They're my little person. You might be able to see my little Sim standing there in front. She's purple. She's super cute. She lives in this house. I have her in my game. I've been playing with her quite a bit. She ended up, okay, so I made 2 versions of her, okay? One I did for filming for videos, another one for my personal save. So the one I made for videos, she ended up falling in love with Rory the werewolf. If you're familiar with Rory, she came over to get some help with the full moon, and then they fell in love. They fell in love real quick. And then in my personal game, she married, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but the new fairy that's in the trailer who looks like Barbie, because I was like, I'm going to lock her down. She came over one day and my Sim was like, yep, I'm in love. So, and then I found out, okay, let me just tell you a little bit about the lore here between the townies. So the Sim that looks like Barbie, who I cannot remember the name of right now, is roommates with this other Sim who was a part of the trailer. And they are best friends, but in their description, there's sort of like this flirtatious undertones, like they might actually get together. So I'm thinking in my personal game that I might have my Barbie sim. They just had a kid, by the way. My Barbie sim might actually leave my purple sim to go back to the roommate girl drama, like right after they had their kid. But then I'm thinking, because I really like Rory and her together in my recording save, so I might have that her get with Rory. I don't know. I kind of just like to see where everything takes me. All right, back to the builds. So there's a basement, as you saw. I talked about the first story is technically like the basement. There's a walkout section to a garden. And I also have an indoor garden where you can grow year-round. So that way you can always have the fruits and vegetables and flowers that you need any time of the year. It's so much better. I usually have a greenhouse, but I really did not have space to make a greenhouse on this lot. So I thought the basement kind of worked. Here is the bathroom. I decided to do this like terracotta red tile, usually meant for outdoors, but I thought it looked really cute with this green, this like sagey green. Maybe it's a little bit lighter than that, but it's just so pretty combination. I don't usually like to mix red and green together, but these are both different enough. I don't like to mix red and green together because it just reminds me too much of Christmas. And I'm like, I only like that in December. Other times of year, I don't want red and green together ever, but this was an exception. I did mention this earlier. Everything you're going to see for a while is base game. I'll let you know as soon as I start adding stuff from the new pack. I do apologize if you've been waiting to see stuff from the new pack, but I promise you it's a coming. I might have mentioned this, but I'm just going to mention it one more time. Before I even started this, I looked online at EA's website and I looked at the catalog of all the new items, most of which the default swatch was purple. So one of the main reasons why I chose purple, but I also wanted to get an idea of the items before I even started decorating this. So that way everything matched, the styles would work well, because I was going to keep some of the base game items anyway. I always do that. I ended up switching this office around to being an apothecary office once I get the pack, but if you're just playing with base game, it's just a regular office. It's a win-win. Everyone gets something. Here is the entry, and I think this area is so cute. So I've been getting better with entries and weird corners and hallways. Those are just like those awkward spaces I never know what to do with. But I feel like I'm starting to figure it out. Pretty much just put like plants, end tables, rugs, paintings, lamps. Those are great hallway decoration items. You don't really need to put anything else. This, if you see the little telephone, that is from a base game. Well, it's base game, but you have to have completed one of the events. You know how they are doing the events? They did the Nature's Calling event for right before this pack came out. I can't remember which one that one came with. It was some sort of nostalgic event that they released during their 25th anniversary. The Sims franchise 25th anniversary. I should say just The Sims, not SimCity, because SimCity has been around longer than 25 years. It's been around since the 80s. Yes. The Sims didn't come out until Sims City 3000, I think. And then they released The Sims. I'm not going to get into the history right now because I would like to make sure I can fact check everything I'm saying. So Google. I even made a video about it one time because I played SimCity, a video on my TikTok, and I did not realize how hard SimCity was. I was like, oh, well, this will be easy. This will be so easy. I play The Sims all the time, and I have played SimCity before. Nah, man. I felt like I needed a degree in city planning to make that. And I didn't even get to the full disasters yet. I was still just trying to figure out how to build a city and have everything connect. I want water. Not half of my city didn't have water, and I was like, shoot. Anyway, if you ever feel like having a challenge, play some SimCity. Okay, so this is the landing of the stairs. I used base game benches. I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying where I get it from. I'm going to keep saying base game, okay? So just deal with it. So I used base game benches, and I lifted them up by 1. I used the 9 key to lift them up by 1, okay? And it's still functional. I put those upper head cabinets, and I used the shortest version that you can use of the upper head cabinets, but I placed them down below like they are a bench. So that's how I made that. And then I added pillows that I got from some other event. So I'm sorry if you didn't do that event, you don't have the pillows. You can download this. It'll still be fine. It will still function. I changed the cabinets of this kitchen to the new cabinets that we got, but I still like these cabinets in here. The cabinets in Enchanted by Nature are a little bit more whimsical. I will show that part, so you will see them. They're very cute. They're perfect for fairy houses. Funny enough, though, fairies don't really need to eat, so, I mean, they can, but you don't need to eat. So she has not been using this room very often. She'll probably use it during parties and stuff, but I really haven't had her in the kitchen much. Good for her. She's out living her life doing things she wants to do. But I did want to include the dining room in the kitchen, this little tiny area. Again, they didn't need to eat, so I figured they don't really need this like big dining room. I was really hoping to get this video done the first week after this pack came out. I had gotten this build done. I had edited my short form speed build. I did screenshots. I did gameplay videos, a ton of stuff. And I had this half edited. I've been waiting to do the voiceover, but I've had friends over this week and last week because we are currently renting a 3-bedroom place. So we're like, okay, we'll have friends visit. Except I have not had time to do voiceovers. They're just, I like to have the space to myself. I don't really want to have people listening to me, and everyone that's been visiting, they don't play The Sims. So I don't need them listening to me ramble about different Sims stuff. But I'm glad that I have found some time right now to hopefully finish this. And I do apologize that this is so late. I wanted to get my thoughts in right away. But silver lining, I did have the opportunity to play a bit more and really understand this pack before this came out. So I am able to talk on it a little bit more than I would have if I made this like the week it came out. I am very fortunate about that. Or lucky, whatever the word. So this is the basement. I've been working on the indoor garden. This is just a little bathroom. I decided to show this. Sorry to hiccup. I decided to show this because why not? I did pretty much the same stuff I did for the upstairs bathrooms. There are 2 upstairs, I believe, and this one downstairs. It is a 3-bed, 2-bath. So enough room. And the bedroom, as you saw, that was the downstairs bedroom. That's more of like the guest bedroom, maybe a roommate bedroom, maybe a teen bedroom. You can exchange some of those items. You can make it a kid's room, whatever you want. In my save it game, I did turn it into a kid's room, but it will be, the sim can grow with it. So here's the art room. This is on the 3rd story, and it's next to the main bedroom. And I just want it to be tiny, a perfect place for your sim to go in and work on their art. I love making hobby rooms. I feel like it's just a fun way to use a space. And there's so many hobbies in The Sims, and I don't always have space for them in the house. So I'm like, shoot, I'm just gonna make some hobby rooms. It originally was supposed to be a bathroom right there, but I'm like, no, I want to have a place for my sim to paint. In this build, I'm pretty sure I added every single base game skill building activity I could in here. There might be 1 or 2 missing. I don't know. Don't like come for me if it doesn't. Also, sad thing I need to tell you. I love the way this little nook turned out, this reading nook, but your Sims couldn't sit down. So I end up changing it around. Right here it looks good, but it doesn't work. So I end up, if you download it, you might see, oh, it looks a little different. It does. It functions though. I just wanted to keep that in the video because I just thought it looked so cute and cozy in there. I was so bummed. I bounced around so much with this build, and I really try not to do that. It just makes editing so much harder, but I usually try to finish one space, one room at a time, and then move on to the next, but I just kept bouncing around. Sorry if you lose track of what I'm doing, but I try to edit it so it's not too all over the place. My sim, I also playtest as I build, so you might see her just kind of lounge around different areas of the house. I like to do it as I go, so that way if I do need to change something, it's not so much of an issue later on. This is the main bedroom. It's a little big, it's nice, it's cozy too, and there is an ensuite bathroom, and in the stair landing, right next to the reading nook, there is a piano space with other instruments, violin and guitar. I did not add a microphone, but there's definitely space for a microphone. Fairies can sleep on pianos. They can also sleep on other little surfaces too, so I thought that was kind of a cute little addition. And The bedroom, I added this like, what do I call it? Like a dresser area. It's not a walk-in closet or anything, but it's supposed to look like a dresser. You can't actually click on those cabinets and dress yourself, but it's sort of just the looks. That's all that really matters, because your sim just needs to use a mirror to change their outfit anyway. Unlike the other Sims games, you had to use a mirror to change your appearance, like your face and stuff like that, and then you had to use a dresser to change your clothes. The Sims 4 changed that, which is good and bad, because I feel like The Sims 4 made things so easy. And sometimes I like crave, I don't know how to explain it. Like, yes, I'm happy it's easy, but sometimes like I kind of wish it was a little harder, because I will use the like cut arounds or whatever I want to call it. I definitely make life easier for myself by cheating sometimes in the game, and also, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I definitely take advantage of how easy this game is, and sometimes I want to struggle a little bit. That's why I play Rags to Riches, and I don't know. I just find that more fun. I like to struggle a little bit. All right, so now this is the spot when I start adding the plants to the roofs, and I'm in the chimney details in the roof section. If you can see in my build by catalog, these are all of the plants that you can place on your roof. So here is the issue that I'm coming across. You can see I'm moving it around and it's red. Red because I can't place it down, even with bb.moveobjects on. It's too sloped. I have a very wonky shaped roof, so I understand, but it was a little challenging. And I literally cut so much of this out because I was just trying to figure out where I could place these plants. So any spot that I felt was a little bald and I couldn't get a spot, or couldn't get a plant up there, I used regular plants that didn't clip to the wall, as you can see here, and I'm using the 9 key to lift and lower them. So, like I said, I'm very happy that they added this. I feel like it's gonna probably need a little bit of tweaking, but I'm happy. I'm happy with it. And before I had to use the 9 key, and I can still do that. I can still use regular plants and just place them wherever I want. So it's a win-win, definitely. And this looks so magical. So here I'm adding these little roof details. It's usually for like log cabins, but I decided to downsize some of them and put them by the roof. I thought that looked nice, especially since I used just a plain purple wallpaper. I wanted a little bit more texture on the wall. All right, back into the main bedroom. I'm adding some plants on top of stools, like little chairs, or not like little chairs, sorry, like little tables. Just thought that looked kind of cute. I saw that from Maya Shamaya a long time ago, and I've been using that ever since. And now I'm making a gnome lamp. I thought this turned out kind of cute. So I do this every so often, especially when I'm doing base game builds, because I feel like I run out of items so quickly. So I take an item like a gnome, and then I'll put a plant, or I'll put a lamp inside of it to make it just like a lamp. It just really helps, especially if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of packs. You can do stuff like that to make more items for yourself. So that was cute. Added a little basket. So I'm not using laundry day, so that's not an actual laundry basket. It's just a decorative one, which is honestly kind of better, because I don't know if you play with laundry day, but there's always issues with laundry day. There's like the simple stuff that comes with a pack, but it's more than that. Like sometimes I hang dry stuff and the hang dryer just stops working. Like I'll hang stuff and it'll just be wet for like days. Like, okay, that's not good. And stuff breaks down. The washer and dryer always breaks down. So I'm always trying to like repair it so it's good enough. And I have like a family of 6 and everything is breaking down. Everyone's stinky. And I mean, it's just, you get it. I mean, if you played The Sims with a big family, you get it. It's like, it's stressful. I'm like focused. You can't get my attention in the real world because I have toddlers to take care of and my washing machine's broken and they're starving. It's stressful. Okay. So now I'm just kind of adding some of the extra details in these awkward spaces, and I'm going to get the new pack soon. I'm so excited, and I'll be able to show you that. But this living room area, I changed around quite a bit. If you saw, I decided I really wanted a fireplace. Winter is in the new lot. So, okay, if you have seasons, having a fireplace is so nice, because then you don't have to have a thermostat in the winter, because you can just light a fire. And I really don't like it when my Sims wear their winter clothes inside, because I usually dress them for like outdoor winter clothes, and it just looks silly. Like I don't want you in a like snow pants in the living room chilling. That looks so uncomfortable, and like gloves and like a winter hat. So I decided if it's a winter house, like Sulani, I won't add a fireplace. But I do like to have a fireplace in any house if it's winter. Plus, I knew the new pack came with a fireplace, so my plan, and I did do this, was to replace that fireplace with one of the new ones. So yes, I did do that. Now I have to add the kitchen clutter. I always put this off until the very end. Sometimes I do the whole kitchen at once, but sometimes I wait to do the clutter because, not that it's a whole thing, but I feel like it's always so spread out in the catalog and I can never find all the items I'm looking for. What I've been wanting to do, and I keep forgetting, is making a tiny room that I can upload to my library with all my favorite kitchen clutter, so I can just download that real quick, put it like in the basement, and just use those items to quickly decorate the kitchen. Because I feel like I'm just scrolling through the catalog trying to find my favorite debug items, my favorite kitchen items. They're all spread across clutter. And the sections sometimes don't make sense because there's like the clutter section, there's miscellaneous, and then there's, what is it called? Like sculptures. All three of which are kind of the same. Sometimes I see the difference. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But like sometimes I'm like, that could be a sculpture or that could just be clutter. I don't know. The kind of, and then miscellaneous. Why isn't that just clutter? I don't know. Okay, I'm not going to get started on this because I get lost in the catalog quite often. I mean, I played enough to like, I feel like I really know it by now, but it takes me a while. Okay, right here, I'm not going to show it all, but I ended up grafting all the plants to be inside. So I didn't have a ton of space in the basement, but I decided to fit as many planters down there. I believe I'd have like 6 or 8, and I have 3 plants in each pot. So grafting, if you're not familiar with it, you can take cutting from a mature plant and then graft it onto another plant. Thus, you can grow like apples and basil in one planter. So what I did was I went outside and I also planted trees, and I took cuttings of each of the trees and I made sure I could graft them all inside so I don't have to take up any space outside for trees, and then they can grow all year round in the basement. That took probably a half hour, but I'm really glad that I did that, and I did it for both base game and for the Enchanted by Nature version. So if you download this build, either version, you will have a basement filled with grafted plants. I'm like super proud of my work there. I might even have to just upload that to the gallery or to my own library, so that way I have like quick access to some grafted plants. So this is the basement bedroom that I talked about earlier. I found this wedding arch, and then I switched the color of it, the swatch, and then I made it match the bed swatch, and I thought that was really cute. So I ended up having this basement be a white and light blue kind of theme. I changed the all the stuff around, all the swatches around to match this white and light blue color theme. But it's really cute. It's like different than the rest of the house, which I think makes it a great bedroom / guest room or something like that, because it has a little bit more individuality. But it's not anything fancy. I didn't do much in here. It's not a huge bedroom. So yeah, you can do whatever you want with it. There is room to turn it into a kid's room if you want. Just kind of delete some stuff and put a smaller bed in there, put some toys, all that stuff. Yeah, just put your kid right in the basement. I do like the stone look to it, but I decided to change the swatch a little bit, and then I had the stone accent wall in there. Kind of made it feel a little bit more cozy. I mean, sometimes a stone house feels a little cold or looks a little cold, so I changed that around a little bit. And then I have all this little area back here. I placed some seeds for decoration. I mean, you can put those into your Sims inventory and plant them if you want, but there's plenty of plants already planted. And then I put some clutter around on these shelves, just something to put down. I put a hose also because I thought that would kind of make sense to water your plants. I mean, you don't need it. Again, it's all decoration, but it adds a little bit more realism to it. Once I finish up with this basement, I end up getting the new pack and replacing / placing new items, which is always really fun and hard because I kind of start liking what the base game version looks like, but I did do a good job at taking some things away and adding, like the windows and doors. The windows and doors in this new pack are so cute. They're not for every build, obviously, but they're just so magical. I'm definitely going to be using them for any kind of occult build. They have this mossy texture to them, and they're very wonky. How many times have I said that in this voiceover? I don't know. But I just really love the way that they look. I don't know, very, very magical. They also have this new fence that has greenery on the top of it, like ivy and stuff. Anyway, so I used that around a little bit and just replacing items. Like I was trying to find windows that fit. I really wanted the front of it to have like this big observation window, especially since it's sort of up on the hill. And then there's also some new window details. This one was at a weird spot, so I used tool mod to move it so that way you couldn't see it from the first story. Or the second story, my bad. And then this is some new flooring. I really love the wood texture. And then we have this new stone. And it's just so pretty. I did keep some of the original stone, I think, in the bedroom because I just kind of was really set on that. But then I added the new stone to the basement. They have a ton of new beautiful columns that they just feel like they're a part of nature. Which again, a huge part of this pack is being out in nature. The bedroom, oh my gosh, sorry, the purple bed, that canopy bed is so pretty. I did still keep a lot of the base game items because it really matched the aesthetic, but I just love that new bed. It reminds me of, there's a really pretty canopy bed that comes with, I think it's, well, definitely Realm of Magic, and then maybe one that comes, the vampires, it might not be a full canopy, but it's like a very big bed. Then there's also these new mushroom shelves. I will be using those all the time. And not just as shelves, because these like mushrooms, these wall mushrooms can be great for decoration also. Imagine on the outside of a house. I've seen quite a few people do that. I did not do that to this house because I forgot. I was planning on putting some mushrooms around the outside, but I totally forgot. I was just really enjoying looking at all the new items. Whenever I get a new pack, it's always overwhelming might not be the right word, but I just like, I have to look at everything and I still don't know the pack yet, so I don't know how I want to use it. Luckily for me personally, this pack was really fun and easy to work with. It's a style I really, really like building, and I kind of have been holding off on it until I got this new pack. One of my favorite things to do was just going through the catalog and looking through everything, all the swatches, the debug items. I cut so much of that out of this video because I'm like, I don't want to show me going through all of the swatches. But I did definitely spend quite a bit of time doing that. There was this really cute bookshelf that I really wanted to put right here. It looks like a tree, but I think it would work better with 2 wall height. Right now I'm only using a 1 wall height, and it just wasn't working. It was way too big for the space, but I'm definitely gonna have to make a room that is specifically designed to be able to use that bookshelf. Sometimes when I make like doll houses, if you ever follow me on Instagram and you see like I make just like one room, I will take an item that I really like and I want to work with, and I will use that as an inspiration for the rest of the room. Speaking of rooms, I am obsessed with the way this living room turned out. It is exactly how I envisioned it because I wanted to use the new glass walls and I wanted to use one of the more intricate wrought iron details, and it just was, oh, the sun was shining in it perfectly. So I really hope that if you download this, you really enjoy all the little details that I put into this because I really like how this one turned out. I don't know if there's anything more flattering than when someone tells me that they've downloaded and played with my builds because I just really appreciate that. All of my builds are play tested, by the way. Thank you all so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And even leave me a comment if you have any ideas for future builds. But I hope you all have an amazing day and I will see you in the next one. Bye!